Yeah. So you gonna roll with us? I can't. Why not? Oh, the police is after you, huh?
Nah. I'm on punishment. My mom says I can't leave the porch.
Oh, man.
Come on, let's hold the porch down.
What's up with this now? We holding the porch down, talking about just how reality's turned out. We ain't finished, ain't even finna be for a minute. Everybody's playing games, what's up and let's have a scrimmage. Gotta unify the cooler guys with you and now you must discuss truth and lies, eulogize the proof in time what makes us us. Ain't no way to be bored now. Come on, we off the porch now.
We still doing hip hop.
Yeah. Where we stop at? What, like 89? Eric B. Rakim?
Yeah, we stopped about 87, 89. And this is right around the start of the golden age of hip hop from 89. Some would say 94. I would say the 2002, but I mean, they say 94, like 97 from 87. Thank you. I'm gonna even throw Ja Rule in there because Ja Rule has the radios like going crazy. Like, let's be real here, huge part. But yeah, 1987. So we're gonna talk a little bit about. Ooh, let me get my notes up. We're gonna start with so your Big Daddy Kane's, your Rakims, your Biz Marquies, and Run DMCs. These are all household names at this point, and hip hop spread like wildfire. What's that?
The lyricist of the New York era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had that heavy New York era. Everybody was out there getting it.
New Jack Boys.
You know, I didn't even really put no New Jack off in here. I didn't even put no New Jack in here, but that's the part I'm gonna have to touch on here. We gonna have to. I thought about subcategorizing because it's a lot.
You can,
but
we will get on a. We'll have maybe an episode.
Yeah. So if anybody shout out and be like, "Hey, what about da 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 da?" I'm gonna go in and branch off and maybe do a little 15-minute cut or something. Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
But anyways, so we had them common household names. That was dope, right? They're mainstream, it's radio. They finally getting into MTV and all this other kind of stuff. So right off the spin of that era, you get your De La Souls, your Tribes, your Gang Stars. Yeah, that starts that golden age of hip hop. It was real smooth, the boom bap. Shoot, Q-Tip still around to this day. Premier still heavy to this day.
The original backpacks.
Yeah. That's that break right off into like what 87, 89, and then got 94 and like shouts out. Shouts out to that sound. Yup. You get 94, gives you Nas's Illmatic.
Mm-hmm.
It was so heavy between that time in rap. 94 was also Notorious B.I.G. Ready to Die.
You got
Everything. Wu-Tang Clan came out, I want to say 94 or 93, one of them. Or was it 90? 95? One of them, 95 to 93, one of them, they came out. Everything out of East Coast was heavy right about that time. So that's like, and all them folks, like most of all the folks that ain't passed are like, they still active. I'm still listening to Method Man tracks. I'm still listening to Q-Tip. Like, man, come on now. And that's like the longevity. Shouts out to that because, like, man, you never think Nas and DJ Premier put out an album, this year, last year? Come on, it keep pumping. So I love that. So, and also you got to give it a little shout out to like a little bit more of the underground sound. You had the Boogie Down Productions and KRS-One. You got the original beef with the bridges over. There was beefing over Queens Bridge.
You got people like the Digital Underground.
Oh, yep. See, because we about to move it over to the West Coast right now. Uh, so you get the shift of hip hop to the West Coast. You know, it was always kind of around with your iced teas and stuff like that. And a little known fact, like of course, one of the earlier one was the World Class Wrecking Crew. If you like not researched, you can say that's where DJ Yella and Dr. Dre came together under what was old boy's name? Y'all
That
remember in the movie, but
that back when fucking Dr. Dre had the
wearing
spandex on.
they was and they was playing in them clubs and stuff.
Spandex
Yeah,
and
so that's like,
fishnets.
and that's around the same time as New York was hitting super hard. So you got coast to coast, and of course, let me not forget to mention Texas because you got the powerhouse of Ghetto Boys and Scarface, which
Your Ghetto
Scarface is still
Boys,
one of
your
my favorite.
Scarface,
Mm-hmm.
you go down south, you get your UGKs, your
Mm-hmm.
8 balls,
Mm-hmm.
MJGs, all that.
Yep,
So
yep. 3 6 Mafia was on the rise at this point in the
hey,
real early '90s.
yeah,
So, because '96 was, we gonna talk a little bit about '96 here a little bit too. But
cause yeah,
so
cause
that West
everybody.
Coast stuff was brewing, right? You also,
It was so funny. Somebody put a meme the other day, and it was
yeah.
like East Coast rap, West Coast rap, and then it was fucking Memphis rap, and it was all horrorcore. It was like 3 6,
Yeah,
like yeah.
yeah.
That was that. We gonna
Memphis
have to do a
did
whole piece on
like that.
Memphis, cause
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. That's a whole that's a 30 minutes of
yeah.
Memphis all on its own. God dang. I only been once and still had the best burger I've ever had was sitting in Memphis on Beale Street. That was fire, fire.
I
Uh,
listen.
listening to the blues.
I give North Carolina and Tennessee more credit than I do Texas for their barbecue. I love a tangy barbecue.
I love. I give Carolina and Memphis barbecue a real good rating over because it got that tang. If you don't like tang, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
But I really appreciate it. Big
but
fan of the and
Missouri.
I like coleslaw, so sue me, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, so all that is brewing up in this span of our golden age of hip hop. That's why I added like '96 and '97. But then you got the Bay. You got your digital undergrounds with the introduction of Tupac on the backgrounds of that.
Mm-hmm.
Souls of Mischief, Far Side, Too Short, E40. Though they weren't as big as our mainstream acts
Mac
like
Dre.
NWA and
Mac Dre.
Mac Dre. Yeah. Bay was super. It's always been super heavy.
Yeah.
With some powerhouses.
DJ Quick.
You got the G Funk. So all of that, you had your. Well, we could stop and talk about NWA and like the formation of gangster music because that's when things got big and they blew up in the West Coast.
When
So
they was
then they eventually broke up after a couple of albums. Then they had their subcategories: Death Row, Ruthless, and Lynch Mob. Putting out albums. They was like, yeah, and it was all
Machine.
beef. It was all beef.
It was all beef. All of it was beef. And
But
unfortunately, which it would have been cool if it would have stayed on wax, but unfortunately,
yeah,
we get
unfortunately, so I mean, and ain't nobody out of NWA to really like nobody killed each other out of there. Thank goodness. But I wish we could have had more. I wish we could have had more. And I wasn't listening to that when I was little, but
yeah, but
go back and look at the history and stuff of it.
mm-hmm.
Yep, fire, right?
some of the
And
some of
so
the
that
some of the greatest tracks of all times are beef tracks, and not just
well,
in hip hop music, not just
well,
in hip hop music.
how did they get the presidential attention? How did they get the government's attention?
Exactly.
Beef with the police.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you got that big, huge, and it's making all this L.A., California all together is just going
Yeah.
crazy. So
Again,
that lasts throughout, huh?
again, it goes back to that rebellion in our system and in everything that we do.
Just like Tupac was talking about that when people make a song, they telling you you're hungry, you're hungry, you're hungry, da 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 da. It gets
Mm-hmm.
more and more aggressive by the week or by the couple weeks, and next thing you know, they screaming at you and they telling you, and that's still happening to this day.
Yeah.
People are gonna start screaming louder, I don't know what everybody got their own issues, unfortunately. So everybody's screaming at all times,
Yeah,
but
it is that rebellion, and like
mhm,
I said, that it is that rebellion, and that rebellion can be used negatively, which in turn
mhm,
turns into that beef instead of us going after
mhm.
the people that is after us.
Yep,
So you
yep.
know,
So, and even while like you still got on the other side, Midwest music is coming up. Since we're talking about beef, you got Common's big track "I Used to Love Her," which drew attention to Ice Cube and Lynch Mob for, basically he said Common was accusing the West Coast of turning hip hop out. And I mean, that's pretty much what he said. But at the same
it's
time, subjectively, it went well with the
yeah,
song.
it's very
'Cause
subjective because here's the issue. The issue is yes, it is violence. It is yes, all
mhm,
the
mhm.
negative connotation that comes with the violence, that comes with the drugs, that comes with the promiscuity and blah blah blah.
But it's still
But
hip hop because of the origin of the it's
it's hip
news. It's
hop
just
and it is real life.
mm-hmm.
It is
Mm-hmm.
real life for some of
Yep.
these people, and
Yep.
it's not celebrating it; it's telling a story. So
Yep. Yep.
it's a very subjective um, genre for
Mm-hmm.
people to think about, and at its core, what is art? Subjective.
What's up, bro? So it's still like I'm not gonna say hip hop was founded on beef, but beef is a huge part of. I don't know. I mean, look what happened between Kendrick and Drake this past year already. So it's the competitive nature of that brings out the fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, and to me, like I said, you go in there, you have your sparring matches and stuff, but that's just what it is. But one unfortunate thing, and this is where we're gonna round off, is the worst beef in hip hop history in my eyes because it ended with the death of two of the main hitters, East Coast, West Coast. When Pac died in '97, uh, we everybody
96.
started thinking a little bit different.
96.
But Biggie died. No, Pac died in '96.
Mm-hmm.
Biggie died in '97. Then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, I had it backward. I'm sorry. But even still, after Biggie died, definitely everybody started looking into things differently. As far as it didn't get much better, different. Well, niggas stopped dying. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
In comes the hard nature of this actually happens in within like in
But people
sure.
started, yeah, people started
Yeah,
moving differently
yeah,
because of that.
yeah.
Those
So
two
Suge
incidents.
Knight had the backdoor industry gangster stuff all together, and then
Big
you
Daddy
had
got
Puff on the
love
other
for the West
side.
Coast.
We ain't gonna talk too much about Puff, but like at this point, if you know, you know. So probably anything could have happened, but he has been, I would say, accused by a lot of people for initiating and feeding a lot of the results of the death of Biggie and Pac. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I ain't gonna touch on it because I wasn't there.
Mm.
But yeah, like that. In we'll talk more about what happened after that and just kind of more of the explosions of hip hop. Keep your ear out for Dr. Dre in these next few episodes, and
Take me to per.
my
I
boy
live
Nelly
in
coming up.
per. So I
Midwest
stolen
Midwest
my
hip hop
earth
is
for
about to
wood.
bang.
Bitch,
So,
stolen my
Atlanta about
earth
to
for
bang.
wood.
We're gonna go
Yeah.
from 97, 98. Oh, Louisiana about to bang. And I'm sorry, I went way too far without mentioning one name for early 90s hip hop, Mr. Percy Miller. My deepest apologies. So we're gonna
But
talk. So real quick, the man went from Louisiana to LA and formed hip hop super group with the gold and the money and the tanks and
He is the reason niggas was wearing gold teeth.
I took way too long to talk about Master P and oh
I'm a no limit soldier. I thought I told you.
so but even still I'll start 98, 97, and 98 with Master P. But that's what's coming next, most definitely. And I think that's a good time because that's right after all that beef stuff anyway. So yeah, we're gonna start with Master P and really get down with some get down on this next episode.
Cause
So
this is like our era.
this is the era. Everybody talking about the golden age, and I'm a fan of myself, but like being a little kid running around hearing these songs when we was playing for the Trojans and I'm Real was out, like, come on, man. Music to my ears. I clearly, but you know what I mean.
Tell the people where they can find you, brother.
You can find me on Instagram at brother underscore Gresh. You can find me on Facebook at Brother Gresh Visuals. And you can find me on TikTok at Brother Gresh. There's a different one.
And you can find us on IG off the porch pod. There's periods in between all the words. Remember that.
Please say the pod.
Yay.
Yeah. So we're going to have to talk some more
Goodbye.
hip hop next time. I'll see y'all later.